I was feeling grateful because in the anticipation of hearing something about Saranagati Bhakti, speaking something about Saranagati Bhakti. Our speaking is nothing but whatever we have heard from Guru Parampara. So that is also considered as hearing for all of us. It is such an auspicious topic. So I was just feeling very grateful that we are all together and we will be discussing about that topic. So thank you for asking that topic. And Rama Mataji, Rajneesh Prabhu, Hare Krishna, welcome to you.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes.
Hare Krishna.
Pranav Prabhu and Niti Mataji, Hare Krishna, welcome
Hare
to
Krishna
you.
Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Jyosna Mataji and Praveen Prabhu, Hare Krishna. And so,
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. And Nitai Gunamani Prabhu, if you get bored being on the screen, and if you want to hide behind the screen, since you're the only one left over, that's fine too. I have the geekies here, so I'll be okay.
That's okay, Mataji.
Yeah, I was just thinking, in all the Zoom classes that we take, when the speaker is talking, and when they say, can you turn on the video? And like, I wish I could, but the whole year, 2 years Zoom may all the time may not be. So sorry, Prabhu. That's what I used to think. So I can totally understand. So totally fine. Totally fine, Prabhu. So Sharanagati. Sharanagati, what is Sharanagati? What is your understanding about Sharanagati? Please, any one of you. You could say anything.
Fully dependent on Krishna.
Dependent. Fully dependent? Only dependent?
Fully dependent.
Fully
Totally dependent on Krishna.
Totally dependent on Krishna.
Surrendering everything to Krishna.
Surrendering
everything to Krishna.
Surrendering everything to Krishna. Totally dependent on Krishna. Beautiful. Yeah. More?
Remembering Krishna all the time.
Remembering Krishna all the time. Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, these are all the components of Sharanagati. Yeah, I'm gonna share.
I mean, it's kind of covered in what was said, but whatever is happening or whatever is happening is thinking that is the grace or blessings of Krishna. And
Taking everything as Krishna's arrangement.
yes.
Yeah, yes, beautiful, beautiful. You are already in the way, on the way of Sharanagati Bhakti. You already know what it is. We'll see what Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying about Sharanagati Bhakti. And are you able to see the screen, please?
Not
No?
yet.
Not yet.
It's coming up.
Up, correct?
Yes.
Yes. I'll put it on the slide. Sharanagati. Sharanagati is our relationship with Lord Krishna. Yeah. And whatever answers we have heard, those are all included in that. Yeah. So the divine relationship with Bhagavan, Lord Shri Krishna is Sharanagati. And it's a process. It's not like, now I know about Krishna and I'm taking Sharanagati now. For a very, very rare times, it can be like that. But most of the times, it's a process. The Sharanagati is our divine relationship with Bhagavan. So, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he beautifully explains, this Acharya is beautifully explaining what Sharanagati means. He walks us through the different components of Sharanagati So we can have this in the back of our mind, and they can be our guidelines to see if we are practicing Sharanagati Bhakti. Beautiful. Yeah. So we'll see what Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Jivedo Yakuri Swaparshada Sviya Dhama Sahavatari. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Jivedo Yakuri. Lord Krishna, he was thinking about us. Isn't that beautiful? Lord Krishna, he thinks about us. Each one of us. It's not just that only we try to think of him. It's a two-way process. Srila Prabhupada, Gaur Govinda Maharaj, Srimad Gaur Govinda Maharaj, he says, you think love is only one-sided? No, Baba, it's two-sided. So Lord Krishna is also thinking of us. That's a relief for us. That's a hope for us. We are not forgotten. And what did he do? He came down as Krishna Chaitanya. He was thinking, Mamaivamse Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana Manasastani Indriyani Prakritistani Karshati. All these jivas, all these people here, whoever is there in the Sharanagati Bhakti Vriksha now hearing about me, and everywhere in the world, wherever there is Bhakti going on, all of these people, and even if they don't remember me also, all these jivas are part and parcel of me. Mamai Vamse Jiva Loke, Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. But Manasastani Indriyani Prakritisthani Karshati. But all these people, not just people, 8,400,000 species, all the jivas are Prakritisthani Karshati. Karshati, they are struggling. Why? Because of the six senses, the five senses and the mind. So these jivas are struggling. I need to go and relieve them, give them some relief. Not just that. What else does he want to give? Not just the relief. We'll see what else he wants to give you. So please note, Sharanagati is not just about relief from the miseries, relief from the sufferings. It is more than that. We'll see what that is. So like this, Lord Krishna, he came down as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and whenever Lord Krishna comes, all of his associates also descend. When Lord Ram comes, Lakshmana comes, Shatrughna comes, Bharata comes, Mother Sita comes, like that. And the whole Ayodhya Dham comes. And in the same way, when Lord Krishna came, Balaram came, Srimati Radharani came, Govardhan Hill came, Vrindavan came. So when a VIP comes, he just doesn't walk, he just does not walk in the street alone. All, few cars before him, few cars behind him, and all the VIP escorting is sab hota hai. And then 5-star hotel booking, 10-star hotel booking, everything happens. In the same way, when the Lord comes, all his parshads come, associates come, and his spiritual realm also comes down with him. So Shri Krishna Chaitanya, when he came in, his associates came, and a spiritual realm, Navadvip, also came down. All this for what? There are many reasons. One of the reasons is for our sake. What do they want to give? What do Lord Krishna as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wants to give? Atyanta durlabha prema kure bare dana Shikhaya sharanagati bhakatera prana. Atyanta durlabha prema. The Manushya Janma is first of all durlabha among 8,400,000 species. This is the only Janma where we can build our karma, good or bad, or liberation, or go back to Godhead. Rest of the Janmas, lower species we are just undergoing our bad karma. The higher species above planets we are just enjoying our good karma. But only in the Manushya Janma, we can actually create karma, good or bad, or liberation or go back to Godhead. So Manushya Janma is Durlabha. And in this Manushya Janma, karma is there, jnana is there, yoga is there. Apart from all these, if somebody can get bhakti, not just using bhakti for a little bit of knowledge, for a little bit of yoga, for a little bit of good karma, not using bhakti for something else, bhakti for bhakti's sake, bhakti for Bhagwan's pleasure's sake, that is pure bhakti. So if somebody is interested in that pure bhakti, that is durlabha, very rare. Yeah, that is the pure bhakti, preeti bhakti, where we perform bhakti just for the pleasure of Bhagavan is preeti bhakti. Very rare. Not everybody is interested. They still want to enjoy some karma, jnana, yoga like that. But whoever is attracted to this message of prema bhakti is very rare. This is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wants to give us. So not just to liberate, get rid of our miseries, but to give this prema bhakti, which is yayatma suprasidati, Bhagavatam says. Only this kind of bhakti can completely fill our heart, fully satisfied. We have heard about different kind of chetanas, right? Contracted chetana, where we experience the miseries. Then vikasita chetana, where we start to experience a little bit of release, liberation. Purna vikasita chetana is reviving our relationship with Bhagavan and having loving reciprocation with him. So that is what prema bhakti is, and that's what Gauranga Mahaprabhu wanted to give us. Okay, is it that easy to get? A little bit of knowledge, okay, we can get it. A little bit of karma, okay, we may do it. But to get that kind of reciprocation, have that reciprocation with Bhagavan, is that so easy? It is not. But if Lord decided to make it easy, then it becomes easy. That's the case with us. So we lucked out. That way we are fortunate that Lord Krishna decided to make it easy, and that's why he came down as Lord Chaitanya. And now he's teaching us how to get that prema bhakti. If prema bhakti is the destination, our GPS address, if we feed destination, prema bhakti, street number, Goloka, whatever, right? If that is our destination, that should be our destination. Please remember, this is why we are practicing bhakti. For nothing less than that. Our GPS address destination is the Preeti Seva, Prema Bhakti. Then what should be our vehicle to get there? Any ordinary vehicle cannot go there. Only one kind of vehicle can go there. That is a special destination. We need a special vehicle. That vehicle is Sharanagati. Yeah. So we have to travel in that vehicle of Sharanagati to get to Prema Bhakti. This is what Lord Gauranga is teaching us. Shikaya Sharanagati Bhakatera Prana. So he's going to teach us the process of Sharanagati, which is the prana of the bhakta. Please note, if we think we are devotees, we are practicing devotees, we are practicing bhakti, that is okay. We are sadhana bhaktas. But Sharanagati is like the life of the bhakta. So if we are sitting in this vehicle of Sharanagati and doing journey, then that's what the real bhakti is, the prana of the bhakti is. Okay. Having said this, please, including myself, I would not be discouraged if I'm not anywhere close to what is being said. Because at least we know where the car is, what the car is, and we are traveling in the right direction. We are in the route, correct route. So we will be seated in the car sooner or later, for sure. Because can somebody give the answer, please? How is that surety? Where is that assurance coming from? That we will be seated in that vehicle of Sharanagati sooner or later, for sure. Why?
Association.
Association.
As long as we are following the pure devotee and their instructions, Mataji, so that would be assured we will be getting into the Sharanagati.
Right. Association, and very specifically the instructions of the Sharanagati Bhaktas who are living a life of Sharanagati. Yeah. So the mercy coming in the form of instructions, and we should be diligently following. Then we will be seated in the car of Sharanagati. Right. So let's see the components now. Ready? Yeah? Got ready? We never know. We may be asked to sit in this car anytime. So please be ready. Okay. So Sharanagati. How many of you feel like you're already sitting in that car? How many of you feel like you have seen that car? Or do you know, have you seen that before but haven't seen that yet? Or have you seen somebody who is sitting in that car? Yeah? Have you seen somebody sitting in that car traveling? As I can say, Prabhu, the whole Acharya Vargas, they were just traveling in that car. They don't step out of that. All the Acharyas.
All the acharyas, right?
Yeah, all the Acharyas. Even now too. We may not be knowing. We don't have the eyes of seeing that car. But there are so many devotees as of now, as we speak. There are so many devotees around who are in that car. We don't have the eyes to see that car, but they are in that car. So like that, it's not an impossible thing. It's not too distant for us. We are on our way to get there. Yeah. So Sharanagati, two things here. It's a relationship with Bhagavan, right? And it's a process. Please note, it's a process that needs to be cultivated. So in this process, if we say Sharanagati means taking shelter or dependence, the first stage is to depend on the process of bhakti. The process of bhakti is hearing about Krishna, hearing the names of Krishna, doing service for Krishna, right? Thinking about Krishna. This is all process of bhakti. Why do we do Harinam? Why do we hear about Krishna? Why do we read about Krishna? This is basically to know about Krishna, Lord Krishna, to know about the process of bhakti, so we can reciprocate with Lord Krishna. We can do the bhakti properly, so we can start to reciprocate with Lord Krishna and to know how he looks, what he likes, yeah, where he is, and what is his reciprocations with the other devotees. All this, hearing about this through the ears, we hear about bhakti and Lord Krishna. Through the tongue, by the tongue, we taste the prasad, right? And with the hands, we do the service of Krishna. And with the legs, we go to the holy places. And so with this external body, we engage this body and services, engage this body related to everything to Krishna. That is bhakti. That is external bhakti. That's what we are doing. That's what Harinam means. That's what Kirtan is. That's what going to the temple is. That's what doing services is. That's what doing pilgrimages. That's what doing deity worship is. Engaging this body externally in the external limbs of bhakti. That's Cheshtarupa bhakti, externally, right? When this body is being engaged like this regularly with the angas of bhakti, what are we doing with the mind? we're supposed to think of Krishna, right? So that is also included in the bhakti. These hands, legs, eyes, ears, okay, they are being engaged, but the mind is to think of Krishna. So this is all bhakti. Externally, when we are doing it with the body, that's external limb of bhakti. When we start to think about Krishna, then internal bhakti starts. Then what do we do with the heart?
Love.
Yeah. If we are not there yet, like at least desiring, if only I could, if only I could, we could get started there at least. Someday, if only I could. And yay, this love, Krishna Prema, that is too far. At least if I could start with a little bit of attention, attention to the holy name, attention to the bhakti. So that desire to have attachment and attraction for Krishna. That's what the heart should be doing. So heart should be desiring for attachment and attraction to Krishna. Mind should be thinking about Krishna, about how wonderful his qualities are, reciprocations are. So this is Bhava Bhakti that goes on within mind, that goes on within the heart is Bhava Bhakti. That goes outside with the body that we do regularly, that is Cheshta Bhakti. Yeah. Now, question for you. I just took up the process of bhakti. I'm just starting to chant 4 rounds a day. And sometimes maybe 10 rounds, sometimes maybe 16 rounds. Then can I expect to have Bhava Bhakti? Is it too much to ask? What do I expect?
It is possible.
Ha, Prabhu?
It is possible.
Oh, it is possible. Thank you, Prabhu. Yes, yes. That is very optimistic. Very good. Yes, it is possible. Generally, our thoughts follow the actions. If you see, if we have to get up early in the morning, exercise like that, not that we get greatly enthused to start exercising. Somehow or other, we just get onto treadmill, something like that. Same way, bhakti also, the actions come first. Mind is not there yet. Mind is not thinking of Krishna and there is no desire for attachment or attention to Krishna. But the actions are under our control. So at least we do the actions first. Lord Krishna says that, right? In 3rd chapter, if at all we have to have control over our senses and body, it starts externally. That's where we can control first. So the actions come first. So when we start bhakti, even after initiation also, we shouldn't be disappointed that our mind is not thinking of Krishna and we don't even have a desire, to genuinely progress. That does not necessarily happen in the beginning because the Rajo Guna and Tamo Guna, we are deeply in those gunas still. That's why it does not necessarily happen quickly. So we don't have to get disheartened. But we want to make sure that we at least follow the external process of bhakti. Okay. That way, Sharanagati, first step is to depend on the process of bhakti. Over a period of time, after many weeks and months, then the second stage will happen. That is dependence on Shri Guru's words and instructions. By that time, the person will take up the Diksha, because to do a process regularly, you need to have commitment. And that commitment is called Diksha. So even after taking Diksha, if somebody is not able to take up Guru's instruction as life and soul, it is because the Tamoguna and Rajoguna are still prominent. Tada rajas tamo bhava, kama lobha dayaschaye, Chetayete anavitam stitam sattve prasidati. When the chitta is in sattva, that is when we start to come to our senses. When the ignorance and passion is washed off significantly, then we get to this little steady state and we start to realize what we were doing all these years. Up until then, it would be everything mechanical. Then we will be like, as if we just woke up from the sleep, we start to realize when this Rajoguna and Tamoguna gets washed off. That's when the bhava towards the Guru and Krishna gets awakened. Yeah, when this passion and ignorance are washed off. It is going to take time. It is going to take few years, even after initiation. So we are not to be disappointed. But the beautiful thing is, as we are putting efforts on a regular basis to do our best, the external process of bhakti, and we are desiring internally to have that bhava bhakti. When these two things are going together, the external effort and internal desire, then something beautiful happens. Lord Krishna is sitting within our heart. Aham ajnana ajam tama nashayami atma bhavasto jnana deepena bhashvata. He is looking at all our efforts. Lord Krishna knows all of our efforts. He is seeing all our efforts. How much we are trying to connect back to him, to please him. So everything that we do, every attempt that we do is noted. And each time we do that, we are accumulating mercy. And as this mercy gets accumulated more and more, we are going from external bhakti, cheshta bhakti, to internal bhakti. So with our efforts and with our prayers and desire inside, Lord Krishna and Sri Guru takes us from outer chamber to inner chamber. That's Bhavarupa Bhakti. At that time, naturally, without a lot of effort, without any artificiality, or with very little effort, we would naturally start to feel certain things. You want to know what those things are? Yeah? These are the emotions that are present in relationship with Sri Guru and Bhagavan. If Sharanagati is a relationship with Sri Guru and Bhagavan, these are the emotions that are present in Sharanagati. What are those emotions? What are those feelings? Dainya, Atmanivedana, Goptrutve Varana, Avashyarakshide Krishna, Vishwasa Palana. After that is Bhakti Anukula Matra, Karyena Svikara, Bhakti Pratikula Bhava, Varjanangikara. These are the 6 things we will start to feel. Dainya is humility. Any example that you know of humility from the scriptures? What is humility? What is your understanding of humility?
Understanding our original position, Mataji.
Oh, yes, awesome. Understanding the reality. Kanya, original position is understanding the reality, acknowledging the reality, right? Yeah, awesome, yes. Acknowledging the reality is humility. Understanding how Lord Krishna is Devadi Deva, and how I am Anu. That is the truth. So understanding that reality is humility. And out of humility, what is it that comes out of humility? See, I'll tell you this example. Sudama Brahmana, right? When he comes to Sri Lord Krishna in Dwaraka, Sudama Brahmana, he was all in torn clothes. Very poor Brahmana. There was nothing to eat for him. And he was just in skin and bones. And he walked all the way from his place to Dwaraka. He was sweating. He didn't take shower, everything. So in that situation, he walks in and then Lord Krishna embraces Sudama. How does Sudama feel? There's a very wonderful verse in Bhagavatam. He goes, who am I, Krishna? Such a poverty-stricken, insignificant Brahmana, and look at me in which condition I am. And who are you, Krishna? You are the king of Dwaraka with all those opulences and fame. And look at your location here. And you are embracing me, Krishna. So that kind of feeling, when somebody gets what, when they get what they don't deserve. I'm trying to give you an example of what humility means. If we are getting something, a huge thing that we do not deserve, that feeling that we get from within, that emotion that we get from within is humility. And with the humility, very immediately, something else also comes.
Graciousness.
Gratefulness. Awesome. Yes, gratefulness. So please remember the example of Sudama Brahmana. We will be discussing these 6 emotions of Sharanagati. We want to understand what those emotions are because we want to cultivate them. These are all Ragatmaka Bhaktas that we're talking about. Sudamas, Brajvasis, right? So, and that's why we are discussing in detail what that emotion means. Humility means it's not about putting ourselves down. It is not about lack of confidence. It is not about pessimism. It is not about anything negative. Humility means accepting the reality. Accepting the reality in relationship with Bhagavan. Yeah? That is humility. And immediately, so if Bhagavan is Devadi Deva Antaryami and Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha, that Sachidananda Vigraha is thinking about me. I am Manasastani Indriyani Karshati. I'm struggling here. Trigunya Vishaya Vedan. I am so dirty with these modes of material world. Here I am so insignificant and so dirty with these modes, Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha. And here it is Sachidananda Vigraha. Lord Shri Krishna, he's thinking of me. And he came down as Krishna Chaitanya, and he came down as holy name, and he's being given to me through Gurudev in the form of holy name, just waiting for me to pay some attention so he can purify me. I mean, what is that mercy that he himself comes down in the form of holy name just to purify me and to give me Sharanagati and to give me Prema Bhakti? What is my great fortune? How do I deserve this? But still he's doing it. So that kind of, this is unbelievable, that kind of shock. And immediately, is that so? Is this a treasure that I'm receiving? I'm so thankful to you. Guru Parampara, I'm so thankful you gave this Nama Chintamani to me. And Lord Krishna is right there. I am very grateful. Combination of these two is Dainya. Yeah, humility and gratefulness. Then next one is Atmanivedana. Atmanivedana is everything that I have. The family members, so-called, all that belongs to me. The family, the things, whatever I think is mine is actually yours, Krishna. And this body, this mind, everything belongs to your service. That's Atmanivedana. All the Brajavasis were like that, right? all the friends of Krishna, the gopis, gopas, and everybody in Vrindavan, their only thought was, how can I please Krishna? How can I feed him butter? How can I play with him? And how can I reciprocate with him in whatever rasa they were? That's the only thought that they had. Everything that was there in Vrindavan, everybody that was there in Vrindavan, all of them are thinking, how can I make Krishna happy? I belong to Krishna, they belong to Krishna, these trees belong to Krishna, flowers, fruits, these people, this everything belongs to Krishna. I belong to Krishna. How can we all make Krishna happy? That's Atmaniveda. Claiming no proprietorship, no controllership. Yeah. Atmaniveda. In Bhagavad Gita, 5th chapter, the last sloka, Lord Krishna says, is there actually a need to do that? Atmanivedana? Can we not do it? What are we going to lose? What are we going to lose if we don't do this Atmanivedana? Just Krishnizing everybody, giving everybody around us to Krishna and ourselves to Krishna. Are we going to lose something? Srila Prabhupada said in that 5th chapter, last sloka, the peace formula. If we don't, Bhoktaram yajna tapasam sarvaloka maheshwara suhridam sarvabhutanam jnatva mam shantim rachati. If we want to be peaceful, forget about Atmanivedana. If we think, oh, that is too much for me, I may not be able to give everything that I have. I may not be able to feel like that, giving everything to Krishna. Then we can just step back and practice one thing. Maybe we can get to Atmanivedana down the road. But if we see ourselves not there yet, the second thing is this sloka in the 5th chapter. Bhoktaram yajna tapasam. Lord Krishna is saying, I am the enjoyer. Yajna tapasam. Of whatever you do, whatever everybody does, I am the enjoyer. Because I'm Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. Because everybody existing here, everything existing here belongs to me. That's what Lord Krishna says. And he's not being a bad boss. He also says, Suhrudam Sarvabhutanam. I'm also a very good friend of you. I'm sitting in everybody's heart. I'm a very good friend of you. I'll be your benefactor. So please remember these two things. I'm very good friend of you, but try to do the things in a way that pleases me. And that is what happens like that. If you do that, then jnatva mam shantim rachati, then you will be peaceful. You remember these two things, that I am the enjoyer. So gear your actions, everything in a way that I'm pleased, but also remember that I'm your best friend and you will be peaceful. If we can remember that, then that gets us close to Atmanivedana. Yeah. I'll quickly do the other two things. Goptatve varnana, varana, avashyarakshide Krishna. It is, do you have any understanding of what that is? Goptatve varana, avashyarakshide Krishna. Vishwasa palana. Can you think of anybody who is just very carefree? They're not concerned and worried about any problems that might come to them because, bindas, they think like, oh, Krishna is there. We don't have to worry. He'll take care of it. That kind of feeling is Goptatve Varana Avashyarakshide Krishna. Can you think of somebody? Can you think of something like that in the scriptures?
Prahlad Maharaj.
Awesome. Prahlad Maharaj. Yeah. So many, he was put to so many challenges, but he was just deeply rooted in Smarna of Krishna. Yes. Prahlad Maharaj was not disturbed at all. with the snake bites. He was put in the fire, thrown down from the cliff, not disturbed. And anything more, anybody more that you could think from the scriptures, where the devotees are like, it's okay. Krishna is there. He'll take care of that.
Mother Kunti?
Queen Kunti, yes, yeah. Queen Kunti, yeah. Yes, Mother Kunti Devi, yes. And if you look at what happens in Vrindavan, every day demon comes, at least one demon comes in Vrindavan, every day. It is said that every afternoon it is expected that a demon would come and Lord Krishna would kill the demon. And everybody celebrates, yeah, Krishna, this is wonderful. You are such a hero. Now let's celebrate. And they open their lunch packs and they start celebrating. That is an ongoing thing in Vrindavan every day. So it means, wahan bhi demons aata hai, Vrindavan mein. Right? But they're like, so what? They're like, oh my God, the demons are coming. What am I going to do? All these struggles are coming. How do I face it? They are like, oh, Krishna is there. So that kind of natural feeling, okay, Krishna is there. Krishna will take care of me. That is Avashya Rakshibe Krishna. He will protect me. Spiritually, for sure, as he did with Chitraketu, as he did with Ajamila. Materially, depending on the need, whatever is good for us, to keep us in our spiritual position, he would do whatever is needed materially. See, for Parikshit, he has to be saved because he has to hear Srimad Bhagavatam. So he was saved. But for Abhimanyu and the sons of Pandavas, Upa Pandavas, they had to go back to Godhead. So they didn't need it to be saved. Their bodies did not need to be saved. So it was not a need. And for Pandavas, he sent, who is that? Vidura, as a messenger to get them out of that lakh house, right? Like that. So if there is a necessity to save the material body for spiritual benefit, for a spiritual purpose, then the body would be saved. If there is no necessity for the body to be here, but go back to the spiritual realm, then the body would go. But spiritually, we are always saved. That is Avasya Rakshibe Krishna. Goptritva Varna is, he's my maintainer. He's my maintainer. Look at the elephants in the forest. Are they not living? Ants in the ant holes. Are they not living? Am I not living? Don't I get the bread that I need every day? Yeah, a little bit of food to fill the stomach. Whatever materially I need, he would provide. He will maintain me. That is Goptritva Varna. And last two are, Krishna, I am your insignificant servant. And I'm so grateful to you that you have acknowledged me and you are helping me revive my relationship with you. And I want to offer my whole self to you. I'll be very grateful if you can make me feel like that. I want to offer my whole self to you. And I want to offer everything I think is mine. I want to offer all that to your service. And Krishna, you've been with me all this time, life after life, coming with me as Paramatma, guiding me as Guru, helping me through the devotees, giving me the knowledge through the Shastra, just waiting for me to turn to you. You've been waiting for me for such a long time, Krishna. You are maintaining me. And you have protected me, you will protect me. You have protected the bhakti of Chitraketu. Even in the body of Rudrasura, the bhakti only got so much stronger that he was waiting to get liberated from the demon, body of demon, and he was asking Indra to just please kill him so he can get rid of this body and go back to the spiritual world. So you have protected his bhakti. You've been doing all this, but since time immemorial, Krishna, giving us the Shastra, reminding us this message again and again. just so I can look at you, just so I can start to reciprocate with you. What is this mercy, Krishna? I do not want to do anything that displeases you, Krishna. And I want to do only those things that please you, Krishna. Those two last emotions are Bhakti Anukula Matra, Karyera Svikara. I want to do only those things that please you, Krishna. I want to dress this way so you get pleased. I want to apply tilak so you are pleased. And I want to not think ill about others so you are pleased. I don't want to be unnecessarily angry and hurtful so you are pleased. I do not want to hold any resentment or hatred on anybody so you are pleased. So I want to do all these things so you are pleased, Krishna. So you are pleased, Sri Guru. And I do not want to do anything that might be offending you, hurting you. If I'm harsh to others, and if my intention is not so good about others, and anything that might be displeasing you, I do not want to do that, Krishna. So please give me the strength so I don't displease you. These emotions are all part of Saranagati. These 6 emotions. The last 2 emotions are because of those first 4 when we acknowledge like, what? You are Akhilanda Koti Brahmanda Nayaka Antaryami, absolute truth which is existent in 3 different ways. The topmost one is Bhagavan, and you are that very same Bhagavan, Lord Shri Krishna, present as Nama Chintamani Krishna Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha. And you're still trying, still waiting for me so I can pay a little attention to you. Oh Krishna, this is Apara Karuna. Please tell me what you want me to do. So that is the result of the first 4, the last 2 emotions. So this is Bhava Bhakti, start of Bhava Bhakti. And this Bhava Bhakti, or the Bhava, the emotions, we should understand that this is our goal. We should not be stopping or get struck only at the external or Cheshta Rupa Bhakti. All the external activities are done so we get to this internal state. And when we get to this internal state of bhakti, all the external activities automatically flow out of us effortlessly. But in the beginning, we take Sharanagati or shelter of those external processes. So while we simultaneously hope and pray that we get attachment to Guru and Krishna, then we will be taken to this Bhava Rupa Bhakti. Our bhakti journey gets much more easier, much more deeper when we are taken to this internal bhakti, Bhava Rupa Bhakti. And this will happen to all of us. Whoever is committed to do the process of bhakti, we will be taken to this internal process of bhakti. It's only a matter of time. Until then, what do we do? Until then, what do we do?
Desire and pray.
Yeah,
Right. Desire and Harinam.
right? Yes, Prabhu. Those 3 things. Until then, yeah, we desire inside, pray inside, so we can get this taste of these emotions. So these emotions can naturally start coming. But until then, we can at least try to cultivate. As we do the bhakti outside, we can try to cultivate. Each time we feel resentment, sadness, hatred, then we replace it with gratefulness. So that we can do until it naturally happens. What's there in our hands? Each time we have a negative emotion, unhappiness or resentment or sadness, then we take shelter of this instructions from the Acharya. And then we try to be grateful. We try to be humble, seeing what our position is. We try to be grateful. And we try to do our best and look for help from Krishna, do our best, but still have faith in Krishna. And then try to do all those things that we know will be pleasing to Krishna. And try to do those things, not do those things which may not be pleasing to Krishna. So those things, we can still try to do our best, even if it is not spontaneously coming. That we can remember. Yeah. Initially, what can we do until we naturally are taken to this internal process of bhakti, until it naturally comes out? What we can do is, first thing is voluntarily trying to cultivate this, number one. Number two, utsaha, nischaya, dhairyat. Still carry out this process of, taking shelter of external process of bhakti. Still continue to do bhakti with enthusiasm and faith. These things will happen at the timing of Krishna. When he wants to make it happen, then he will give it, not when I want it. So I have to be patient. Until I learn the lesson of being grateful, until I learn the lesson of being patient, until I show that I am determined, those doors of Bhavarupa Bhakti may not open. I have to finish my elementary school before I go to the next level. So what is there in my hands is to practice bhakti with enthusiasm, to maintain that patience. Leave it to Krishna. He's the boss. I cannot demand. I have to be patient. Let the boss decide. I can demand. When he's placed, then it will happen. And doing whatever we're doing in bhakti in an enthusiastic way. So that's the second point. Cultivate voluntarily, and then with enthusiasm, patience, and determination. The third thing is continue to hear from these Sharanagata Bhaktas. In their bhajans, in their words, there is a big potency. When we are constantly hearing from them, their mood and their instructions, we imbibe that mood, and their instructions start ringing in our ears. That will be a strong fuel for us, and that can really accelerate our journey towards the internal process. Yeah, so these three things can be done until we naturally become more of internal bhaktas. I'll pause here and I'll take your questions, reflections, or anything, please. Thank you so much. Oh yeah, the other three things. Yeah, those are the limbs. The other three things are this mood we have already discussed. We can cultivate that, and then we have already discussed about this anyway. This is more to do with the humility, acknowledging our position now, and requesting and praying internally with humility to get us to that internal bhakti, which starts with gratefulness, humility. So in a way, we have covered that too. I'm going to say, at the end of the slideshow, you have to give the contact number, right, for more information. So that's Lord Chaitanya, Gauranga. He's a Patita Pavana. He knows that we are gone cases. Because we have acknowledged that we are a gone case, he is a Pavana. Then he comes to rescue. So I will stop sharing. Yes, please, reflections, questions, anything that you would like to.
Krishna Mataji.
Hari Hari. Hari Hari Mataji.
2 questions, Mataji.
Yeah.
So Avashya Rakhive Krishna, what I heard is that we will be saved spiritually. Body need to be saved or not, that will depend on Krishna.
Yes. Yes.
So that is right, right?
Right. Yes.
What is the individual's role if it is like if it is what should an individual be doing if it is it's up to only Krishna, what should be our actions here in that case?
Good. Yeah. Doing what is practically needed, but also to be open to whatever the outcome is, thinking that as Krishna's arrangement.
Can these 2 things practically go hand by hand?
They do. They do. They do. Devotees do that. Yeah.
So if somebody is really sick, for example, and he is trying to do whatever is best possible, but
Right.
he's making mentally ready that he can be sick this way whole life, it's Krishna's arrangement. 2 things, how can they go together?
This is anapeksha. Anapeksha means we are doing what is needed to do for this body to be healthy. Yeah. And at the same time, we don't hold any resentment if things do not get better because we have done whatever we need to. So not holding any negativity, resentment or opposition or expectation, anything like that. While we do our best, they do go hand in hand. And when we walk through, it cannot be so easy and it cannot be like, okay, I don't have any resentment at all. I don't have any fear at all. And I don't feel any bitter at all. I am just totally fine. It is not so black and white. Yeah, there can be sadness. There can be a little resentment. And but a devotee is not overtaken by that. They acknowledge that they have these feelings, but they still go on with the process of bhakti, taking that as Krishna's arrangement without holding a resentment. So they acknowledge that they have it, but they're not very much disturbed and can still continue with the process of bhakti. I'll give you an example. We had Mother Krishna Nandini here, great soul. She passed away with cancer long time ago. So she expressed that, how, if I'm recollecting everything well, and there are many devotees also, very advanced devotees, when they encounter something like this with the body, especially with the cancers. Initially, there can be a little shock, sadness, and a little resentment. But because they have practiced Krishna conscious for a very long time, all those feelings of negative feelings, they come, but they do not stay for a long time. They do not disturb them much. With the strength of the Krishna consciousness that they have practiced for a long time, they started getting detached. Like Parikshit Maharaj, when he came to know that he was going to live only for 7 days, after that initial phase of little resentment, they quickly come to this phase of getting prepared to whatever next plan is for Krishna, wherever they have to go. Devotees do that. They can do that because they have practiced Krishna conscious for such a long period of time. So depending upon how much we have practiced Krishna consciousness, we will be able to take the situation on that strength. If you're just starting to practice, then it may take a little more time, little more time and effort to get to that stage. And It's a process. It's going to take time. But for somebody who has practiced it for a long time, it would not take that long to quickly come out of the resentment and then prepare themselves on a positive note, literally positive note. Many devotees, they actually wrote also, how they actually saw that that medical problem has become a blessing because there was total change in their consciousness. Exactly like Parikshit Maharaj. They were so totally prepared. They were jubilant. They were very thankful. Gratefulness was overwhelming. And so all that switch from negative to positive to spiritual has happened in the devotees, practically in this day and age. So there is a big hope for us. It can be different from person to person and depends upon how much they have practiced bhakti so far.
So that brings to the next question, Mataji.
Mhm.
When you are in the practicing stage of bhakti, or you are a beginner, and you have the experiences of kind of failure, you can say. Your prayer is not being answered, as you said. We can't demand of Krishna to, make certain thing. He will do it when he wishes to do it. So, in when we face these kind of thing, then how does one get the strength to go on? Where does the utsaha comes into the picture to keep going on?
Right. Yeah. The first of all, the instructions, Bhagavatam says, when we are facing difficulties in life, right, then Bhagavatam says that we have to look at it as our own karma coming back, but is minimized by Krishna. Understanding that, we want to be thankful and continue to do bhakti. That's the instruction of Bhagavatam. So our strength is the words of the Shastra. It is at least telling us what to do. So it is giving us guidance of how to think. Okay, this is what Shastra is saying. And continuing the devotee association and whatever anga of bhakti that we are easily attracted to, if it is Shravanam or if it is any service that we are attracted to, and that gives us strength, holding on to that and devotee association and continuing to hear from the Bhagavatam, the instructions. These are the source of healing, support, and enthusiasm. And sometimes it can be hard. Just practicing mechanically itself is a big deal. And we have to be grateful even for that mechanical attempt because it's hard. We cannot always practice with great enthusiasm. It gets so tiring and discouraging sometimes. It's just enough to do it externally. And then we thank Krishna, you know where I'm at. And it's been very difficult, but at least you're letting me do mechanical. That itself is bhakti. That itself is determination. That is also employed as determination, patience. We may not be really enthusiastic, but we are showing our determination in times of difficulty. So holding on to the Vaishnavas, holding on to Shravanam, Kirtanam, or whatever that is giving us strength, and the instructions from the Shastra. Holding on to these for the strength as we walk through.
Has there been cases in scriptures where the faith has been broken because it's been too late to reciprocate?
There is nothing like that, Mataji. Even Chitraketu and Vritrasura, nothing more can really happen. So the faith being broken is not there in the scriptures because faith is a boon from Krishna. It's not about us. It is given to us. we don't even take it away. There can be a little gap in between and then will be revived again. But once something has done in bhakti, it is eternal. It's not going to go anywhere. Even if a person loses faith and tries to forget Krishna, that is only a transient period of time. And they come back again. So that's the nature of bhakti. Once we do something in bhakti, it's never lost. Sometimes there can be pauses. Sometimes there can be halts. Sometimes there can be a little resentment or angry with Krishna. But as in any other relationship, with a mother-daughter relationship, especially mother and daughter, I mean, any parents and children, because generally I was going to say a couple relationship, wife and husband, but that's a different relationship. In this day and age, there can be a choice. But for the parents, with the children, no matter what they do, still the bond is going to there. And the parent is always going to be there for the child. Is it going to go away? Not really. Even if the child is so stupid and absurd, the parent is still going to be there for the child. If a mortal parent can show that to a mortal child one time, one lifetime, what about the eternal Father? His karuna is aparam. So yeah, even if we want to break, it's not going to break. Krishna is not going to break the relationship. He's been with us life after life as Paramatma. He's not going to go anywhere. He's just going to sit in the heart. That's it. And wait for us to see, wait for us to smile. That's it.
Yeah. So I was just thinking then in that case, little resentment is okay.
Totally okay. Oh yeah. Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's where I come into the point
Yes.
that how do you go through everything
and not hold resentment.
Wait for the mercy. That's not in your hand. And
Right.
don't even have those feelings of, you know, why is so, or, you know, don't even feel little anger, little resentment.
I see. That's a good point, Mataji. That's a very good point. Naturally, all these feelings may come out, as you said, anger, resentment, etc. Yes, we acknowledge when it's coming out, but let's just, everything gets directed to Krishna. As long as every emotion is directed to Krishna, when all this cloud of resentment, hatred is going to go away, then there's a cloud of positive things, it will come out too. Then that also will be for Krishna. Whatever helps us to look at Krishna in any way possible, with hatred, with resentment, you know, Vatsalya Gaura, Vatsalya Moha, you know, any different kind of rasas, as long as it is geared towards Krishna, that is still bhakti. But anukulasya, that as long as it is an anukula for bhakti, see, even if it is anger or resentment, and if it is coming out, and if you feel like, yes, I have to acknowledge this, Krishna, this is what is going on with my life, and what are you doing sitting there? Please, something help. If that is helping us to still reciprocate with Krishna until we actually feel better, then that is totally fine. As it is naturally coming out, that is reciprocating with Krishna. This is how I feel, so please take over. That is communicating with Krishna. That's part of bhakti. That is keeping us in bhakti. So that is fine.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Very practical questions. Yeah, I'm so glad you didn't let us move forward without acknowledging what naturally comes out when we have the difficulty. Yes, all these natural feelings, they do come out. We do not want to suppress them. We do not want to ignore them. We want to acknowledge them, see how they can be dovetailed, and see in a way how these emotions can get us close to Krishna. Even the sadness can get us close to Krishna. Resentment also can get us close to Krishna. It is still, you are thinking of Krishna with resentment. You didn't forget to think about him. And after that resentment is gone, you're still thinking of Krishna. So, yeah, we acknowledge those emotions And we see that those emotions somehow or other take us to Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you. Thank you, Mataji. This is why you asked for this topic, Mataji, Sharanagati. Is that okay now? Are you satisfied? If you're satisfied, then
I think bhakti is Sharanagati, and if we are not understanding that, then it's just sounds like words to me, and that's why I thought it's
Right.
It's important to understand it. It still feels a word to my ears whenever we hear it. Okay, we have to be Sharnagat, we have to be here to Acharya. But when we hear those words, it should convert quickly in some small action. That is what I wanted to know.
Yeah. In some small action with the guidance of the 6 emotions that is laid out by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Yeah. Yes. Yes, Mataji. Thank you. Anything else? Anybody else?
I think Mataji, very good class actually. Yeah, thank you for the class.
Thank you.
I think there are a lot of, I'm a little bit going a blank right now, but there were a lot of stuff that was very important. I think the one basic stuff that it emphasizes, okay, what kind of effort am I putting or taking the steps to get into the path of doing Sharanagati, just, where am I trying to assess myself, or where am I in that path? Where do I stand? How much effort am I putting in as part of the Sharanagati process and things like that? So just re-emphasizing that part was, it's good to hear and kind of, to letting me think about it a bit more. So that was one thing. And then of course, there were points about the humility and the gratefulness and all those things, that you mentioned. They were all really nice to rehear those things and trying to see if I can remember those in our day-to-day, work and effort, and when I'm not thinking of Krishna, or trying to put the effort to think about Krishna, and whatever is happening around, being thankful for the situation, good or bad, trying to learn from that. So a lot of small points in there, but I think it was a really nice, very nice class.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhu. Thank you. This is a reinforcement for me too, because when we say Sharanagati, as Mataji was saying, we don't want that to be a vague thing, not fully understood. Now we know Sharanagati is more of an internal process that happens within us. That's one thing. And second thing is, what can we do to get to that internal process? In that, humility and gratefulness, to cultivate that on a moment-to-moment basis. Whenever we see that we are resentful or not so grateful, then that's an opportunity for us to cultivate that humility and gratefulness. And whenever we have a problem, then yes, we may have to do whatever we need to do practically, but still having Krishna in the back of the mind, that he's our maintainer, protector, like that. And the next thing is, the deciding factor for us to do something or not to do something is if it pleases Krishna or not. So to summarize and pack for us, if we can call it as, the guidance to cultivate Sharanagati, these are the 3 points: the humility, gratefulness to be cultivated as much as possible on a regular basis, whatever it is, good or bad. Yes, looking that as Krishna's arrangement. Second one, whenever the challenges come up, looking them as Krishna's arrangement, and we try to do our best, thinking that as Krishna's arrangement, and see what we can do to move on the next step. Third one is Our deciding factor to do something or not to do something is if it pleases Krishna and Guru or not. These are the things that are there in our hands to go internally, to cultivate. And Lord Krishna will see our efforts and he will reciprocate with us accordingly.
And I think, Mataji, the way you explain your example, or the, when you're just in general describing about, how Krishna is just waiting for us to, was very nicely put together.
Yeah.
That life after life, is just waiting for us to come,
Right.
us to come closer towards him or look at him.
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu. Yeah. As we contemplate about bhakti from that perspective, how Krishna is trying so hard, how Gurudev is trying to so hard to pick us up, and how devotees are helping us around to be in this devotion. If we gear our thinking to that perspective, we can relish bhakti. So with this understanding and thought, like, Krishna, you've been there for such long time, you're just waiting for me to turn to you. You're in the holy name. Start the japa. You will not feel like, oh, how many more rounds to do? The mind will go here and there. No, because you are absorbed in that mode of gratitude. Gratitude is pervading within you. The bhakti is about this. The whole process of bhakti is about this. The gratefulness, the connectedness, the affection, the servitude, all these things should be pervading within us. This is why we are doing bhakti. So whatever helps us to pervade these, good qualities, transcendental qualities that can help us to reciprocate with Guru and Krishna, that's what we want to do. That's what we want to think. That's what we want to do. That's what we want to cultivate. Yeah. And with that mode, if we are doing japa and if we are practicing bhakti, then we will relish more.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else can pause here if you don't have any.
Mataji, just wanted to mention one thing. The whole presentation was very nice. And in the end, I really like how you mentioned for more info, contact Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I was...
And he is not easily accessible, by the way, Mataji. He's accessible only to Nityananda, through Nityananda Prabhu, and that means Guru Varga. So I was thinking maybe I should put Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur there. He's more accessible to us. That's all those instructions are from Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. But yes, ultimately through Guru Parampara to Guru Varga. Yes, Mataji.
Very nicely explained, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mataji. It's a very nice reinforcement for me too. A wonderful one. Wonderful one. I was looking forward to share this with you so it can get into it. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you, Ujjvala Mataji.
Yes.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hari Hari Prabhu.
Yeah, as Smriti mentioned, wonderful class, Mataji. I think I liked the point about the humility which you made, and especially in the end when you were showing the slide of Gauranga, so that we mentioned that we are all gone case.
True. Such a relief to acknowledge that we are all gone cases, Prabhu. Yeah, that's when Gauranga would be like, oh, okay, you have acknowledged you're a gone case. Okay, I'm coming to your rescue.
Yes, Mataji, but we have to accept it that we are all gone cases. That is...
Yes, Niti Mataji, yes. That is a very essential point. Even in japa also, we have to acknowledge and accept that. Until then, Gaur Govinda Maharaj, he calls us as duplicitous, pretender. You're a pretender. You are duplicitous. How will Gauranga rescue you? Huh? You have to be simple-hearted. So yes, we have to acknowledge. Yes, Mataji. There's a big relief in acknowledging, though.
Yes. Yes, Mataji, we can't handle anything on our own, so it's better to accept it that we are all gone cases.
Yeah. Yes. That's when. Yes. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji.
Yes.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna,
Yes,
Mataji.
Prabhu.
Thank
Hari
you.
Hari Prabhu. Yeah. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you. Any reflections, take-home points? One or two quickly for you? That way you will feel like you're part of the whole thing too. Even if you have one take-home point that you want to think of or cultivate.
Yeah, treat everything as Krishna's arrangement when the difficulties comes. When the difficulties comes, like treat everything as Krishna's arrangement.
Yes, Prabhu. Yes. Yes, Prabhu. Yeah. That's what Bhagavatam says again and again. And once we understand that this is game plan of Krishna and we start taking that as arrangement, then we will not feel pain anymore. It doesn't matter to us if it's a difficulty or not. Not that the problem is going away, but we don't see it as a problem. It's like we don't wear the jacket outside. It's very chilly, but I don't feel cold. You see? Yeah. These are all the lessons. All these difficulties, they can come as opportunities for us to learn something so we can get closer to Krishna, serve him nicely. Like a raw mango becomes ripe over a period of time, when Lord Krishna wants us to really become a ripe mango, which as a sweet mango, then he arranges certain things. And if we notice that as Krishna's arrangement, and then just try to do our best without resentment, then the mango is ripened, sweet, as a magic. Then we don't have pain anymore, misery anymore. The situation may still be there, but we don't feel misery. Yes, Prabhu. Thank you. Thank you for that. Yeah.
Thank you, Mataji.
Yes.
Hare
Thank you,
Krishna,
Prabhu.
Mataji.
Hari Hari, Praveen Prabhu. Yeah.
Thank you so much for this great class, Mataji. Yeah, we ourselves calling, at least myself calling, like fallen souls, like some professional name. Now we got the other synonym. We are gone cases.
It can get better or worse or whatever name we say. Yeah. Gone cases. Yes.
Thank you.
Gone
Thank you,
cases,
Mataji.
Prabhu, gone cases with the big hope.
Yes.
Gone cases, but the hope is huge.
All
Nitai
gone
Gauranga,
cases.
super merciful. Yes.
All gone cases, meeting every Friday and taking the more help from Guru Varga.
Yeah. From Nitai Gauranga. Yeah. They are very merciful, Prabhu. There's real happiness there. Acknowledging his gone case, but the hope is quite big.
Yes.
Almost fully confident, assured, because they are very merciful. Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hope is like a big mountain, Mataji.
Yes, Prabhu.
Hope is
Oh,
like
yeah.
Himalaya.
Oh, yeah. That's our life force. That's our life force. Yes, Prabhu. Yes.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you. Don't want to hold you too long. I was just trying to make you feel that you are included, and also let you take at least one take-home point. But maybe we'll close now. Don't want to go too long. Yeah, so we'll pause here. Yes. Yeah. Thank you all so very much. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyaiva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namah. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Bhagavan Gaur Hari ki jai. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare